Psalm 132 is a psalm of prayer and praise that focuses on God's promise to dwell among His people in Zion. Here is an explanation of the psalm, verse by verse, using the King James Version of the Bible. Verse 1, Lord, remember David, and all his afflictions. The psalm begins with a plea for God to remember David, the great king of Israel, and all the hardships he faced in his life. This is a reminder that God is faithful to His promises, even in the midst of difficulty. Verse 2, how he sware unto the Lord, and vowed unto the mighty God of Jacob. This verse refers to David's promise to God that he would find a permanent dwelling place for the Ark of the Covenant, which represented God's presence among His people. Verse 3, surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. David's commitment to finding a permanent dwelling place for the ark was so strong that he vowed not to rest in his own home until he had accomplished this task. Verse 4, I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to mine eyelids. David's dedication to finding a permanent dwelling place for the ark was so great that he was willing to lose sleep over it. Verse 5, until I find out a place for the Lord, an habitation for the mighty God of Jacob. This verse summarizes David's goal, to find a permanent dwelling place for the ark that would be a suitable home for God Himself. Verse 6, lo, we heard of it at Ephrata, we found it in the fields of the wood. This verse refers to the discovery of the perfect place for the ark, which was in a field near Ephrata, Bethlehem. Verse 7, we will go into His tabernacles, we will worship at His footstool. The psalmist speaks of the joy of being able to worship God in His presence, now that the ark has a permanent dwelling place. Verse 8, arise, O Lord, into thy rest, thou, and the ark of thy strength. The psalmist calls on God to come and dwell among His people in the newly established dwelling place for the ark. Verse 9, let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy. The psalmist prays for God to bless His people with righteousness and joy as they worship Him in His presence. Verse 10, for thy servant David's sake turn not away the face of thine anointed. The psalmist reminds God of His promise to David that He would establish his descendants as kings over Israel forever. The plea is for God to remember this promise and continue to bless His anointed ones. Verse 11, the Lord hath sworn in truth unto David. He will not turn from it, of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. This verse reiterates God's promise to David that his descendants would sit on the throne of Israel forever. Verse 12, if thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. The promise is conditional on the obedience of David's descendants. If they obey God's covenant and follow His teachings, their descendants will also sit on the throne of Israel forever. Verse 13, for the Lord hath chosen Zion, He hath desired it for His habitation. The psalmist affirms that God has chosen Zion as His dwelling place among His people. Verse 14, this is my rest forever. We create content that empowers believers to live their faith in everyday life. If you want to be part of this movement, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey.